I love you too, seriously. I love everybody more and more every day when I see somebody happy or alive. And, you know, God, I was just in Boston a week ago, and everybody was in such a good mood and so happy to be interfacing with like-minded people, and you know, and I was just thrilled to death. I mean, people were so happy. Because there's so much to be miserable about. You know, I don't have to tell anybody that, but you ain't putting dead babies in my arm. You ain't gonna put none of that dead babies. You're not putting dog piss in my arm. You know? What is that? What is that? I'll kill anybody that tries to give me an inoculation. And it's like, you can always count on a dog to be a dog, whether it's 1936 or 3000. You can always count on a cat to be a cat, or a horse to be a horse, or a bear. You know, give a bear half your sandwich at Yellowstone Park and he'll rip your head off. But I expect him to do that because he's a bear. But all of a sudden, you can't expect certain human beings to have humanity.
Yeah.
What the, you know? I mean, you can't expect human beings to, I don't know, I've seen people, how do I even, I'm all wound up. Too much coffee, I think. But anyway, I'm here because, let's see, what's the bulletin I have? Oh, they're gonna bring Ren and Stimpy back on Comedy Central. Yeah, I'm gonna do both voices. Yeah, thank you. It's a lot of work, all that screaming and yelling. But that's okay. That's how I got work. They said, get that guy that can scream like a psycho. You know. Hey, Ren, will you button me? Shut up, you pig! You fat pig! Oh, Ren, you hurt my feelings. Oh, shut up. I haven't done that in a long time. I haven't done those, but I'm revving up for it. Yeah, I don't know when that's gonna start recording, but I've done a lot of work out of the house. Like I was doing Matt Groening's show, Disenchantment, out of the house. My brother set up like this little recording booth so I didn't have to go into Los Angeles. Yeah, you know, I don't mind driving from where I live, but the thing was, they said, you know, none of the studios are gonna let people come in, and you know, they were pretty strict, so we did shows without it anyway. And they were directing me over the phone. But what it proved to me, do you guys know who Steve Bloom is?
Yeah.
Of course you do. We were talking last week, and he said he and his wife are moving to Hawaii, the Big Island. And I said, really, you're gonna have like a, you know, little home set up? And he goes, yeah. I mean, I learned that from this year, is that luckily for voice people, you don't have to be where they are, you know, as long as you have a good setup, and you don't even need high technology anymore. Anybody who's set up like a podcast through your own computer, I'm sure there are people. Anybody doing their own podcast here? Really? I'm fascinated by that. Everybody's got a microphone except me. I don't have one at home. Yeah, I do actually, but I think that's the greatest thing in the world, is people hosting and having guests on and just talking with their friends. And I used to love this spy show when I was a teenager. It was called The Man from U.N.C.L.E. It was a spy TV show. And so all these many millions of years later, these two women get drunk and talk about that TV show that was on television decades before they were born. And I said, this is killing me. This is great, because they were questioning certain premises, and one of the guys goes, this is very Orwellian. And the girl starts laughing. She's drunk, and she goes, you know, I know a lot about Orwell, and this is not, what kind of a writer did they hire to do it? You know, they just, some of these shows I never questioned, you know, I just thought they were elevated above me, but, you know, they spend time on this periphery, and I find it more fascinating than regular radio. I can't listen to music. I mean, I can listen to some music, like college stations play, but if I hear that friggin' auto-tune, do you know what? Music is dead. and if music is dead, then auto-tune is the mortician's makeup. You're gonna make it look nice. Well, it looks nice, you know? I don't know. It's like, you used to call me on your cell phone. I can do that. You used to call me on your cell phone. And they got a gadget doing it, and people who can't sing. There's this joke. If anybody knows anything about recording, they had this program called Pro Tools, and every studio used it. And you could fix anything. And the joke was, the band would finish playing, and the recording engineer would go, "Come on in, it sucks." In other words, don't worry about it. You used to have to really put out. But now everything is the magic of horse shit. I don't know. What else was I going to tell you about? Go to my booth and shut up and take my autograph. And greetings from the year 3000, it still sucks. My own memes. Why not Zoidberg? Zoidberg could lead. I've been doing cameos, and people say, have Zoidberg celebrate somebody's birthday. I don't care whose birthday it is, as long as it's a birthday, because that means there's cake. I'm struggling for cake. And then I see my face in the monitor and I go, oh, my face, look how fat from all the cake. And then singing the birthday songs to them. What day is today? Oh, it's so-and-so's birthday. Day for a birthday. And the old zapper still got it. Let's all have some cake. Beautiful birthday song. Thank you. I don't know. I don't know if anybody's interested in listening to me bullshit around, unless you want to ask questions and we can do a Q&A. Yeah? You got stuff to... Anybody who has anything to say? We should... Somebody? Yes, my dear Kim.
Yes.
That's a microphone.
I know.
You know that, but there's an on.
Hello?
There we go.
And I didn't know where it was, so you're smart.
All right, if you have a question, line on up.
That's the way to go.
So when producing episodes of Ren and Stimpy, I see in the credits that sometimes you're both of them and sometimes you're just Stimpy.
Yes.
So what's preferable, like when you have to argue with yourself a bit, or when you got another actor to bounce off of?
When I do a lot of stuff talking to myself. You meet a better class of people that way. First of all. And the other thing is that was originally on Ren and Stimpy. I was supposed to do both voices, and John Cristovalucci decided he was going to do it, and I didn't give a fat frog's ass who did what, because I had a job. I was just really happy. And then when he mangled his own position and started messing up, they said, wasn't Billy supposed to do the other voice? Because I'm the one that helped sell the show that way. We went over to Nickelodeon, and there was a meeting with all these women at Nickelodeon, Jerry Laybourne and Vanessa Coffey and Mary Harrington, all cool people. I got to know them over the years. But he didn't have a tape of anything to play them. So we went in a closet at MTV, which was up the hall from this guy Kurt Loder's office. He was a news guy. Yeah, and we went in the closet, and it was like right out of a movie. There was a broom or something, a mop, attached the microphone, a little tape recorder microphone to it, and I'm reading like this in the closet, and doing both voices. And John came out of the meeting and went, "Congratulations, what you did just helped sell the show." So eventually I wound up doing the other voice too. But it doesn't matter to me. An assignment is an assignment, whether it's 5 characters or whether it's 3 or 2 or 1. You take all of your passion and all your inspiration. That's how I've always done anything, and I'll keep doing things that way. If I go back, I mean, I wish they'd bring Futurama back because that was my favorite show. I have separation anxiety. I really do. And plus the writing was so spectacular. People have probably seen me say this on videos, but there was this one embarrassing day where I'm reading the script and somebody said, beer, hey Fry, I heard beer makes you stupid. And he goes, no, it doesn't. And I looked up to David, the director, David Cohen, and I said, David, Norm doesn't. Please read it as written. That's a dead-on impression of him. And so I did, and I said, I'll be back for the $800 fix-it fee, don't worry. And then when I saw it on TV, I went, because I didn't get it. But luckily it was Fry, who doesn't really get much of anything, so the delivery of me saying no, I'm doesn't was like the best acting I ever did because I didn't know what I was saying. Know what I'm saying? Yes.
Yeah,
Sure.
I already answered mine by going back to writing of Futurama. Do you still find like jokes in the background, little side jokes when you revisit the show? Because it is by far one of the best written things. The smartest written animated thing I think out there.
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. The writing. I like the way that they kind of, I don't know, reconfigured comedy, like the standard things that people used to laugh at. They reconfigured them so that you get it, and it doesn't have to be get it, get it, get it. That's what I like about it. It's classy, and it always seems fresh and new. And the writers are just an amazing bunch of people. Ken Keeler is an amazing guy because he's a musician, and because he's such a math head, he's a musician, but he doesn't care about music. He's one of those people, it's like me. I lived and breathed music. I was in bands and I played, and I wound up playing with one of my idols, Brian Wilson, in his band. And Ken was like, Ken, don't tell me you don't have any feeling for it. No, I don't really. I mean, it just, comes to him naturally. But he was lying. He was lying. I knew he had to have some streak in him of passion that made him do those things. Just a little Ken Keeler anecdote.
How do you develop new voices or find the current one you have? Like, is it you're in the shower, you talking to the writers and changing the pitch? Or is it like you look at the character and you know what they should sound like?
Sometimes I just listen to people. And,
No, I'm not. You know what it is? I'm on the autism spectrum. I found out a few years ago. And that's why everything was so hard when I was a kid. I couldn't tie my own shoe. I couldn't tie a necktie. I didn't care if you showed me 125,000 times. I still could not grasp it. I couldn't grasp sports. I processed everything upside down backwards. And there's a lot of people here that know exactly what I'm talking about. And but ask me to do a Beatrice Arthur impression, There's something.
Beatrice Arthur impression.
What's that?
Do a Beatrice Arthur impression.
Oh, shut up, Walter. I'm gonna wrap my legs around your head like a cheap turban. Blanche. So, there. You called me. No, but I mean, how come I can do that crap, and I can't tie my shoe, or I can't... It bedeviled me my whole life, but I realized that the gifts... Okay, so I don't have a gift for understanding baseball or hockey or being able to play it and everything. But show me a picture of something and you got a group of people that worked concerted to create a character and they're trusting you. What would this character do? They used to show me a picture of a character, and Futurama, same thing. What do you think? What do you think? And boy, you're under the gun, but it was like, this is obviously what I was meant to do. I was sort of born to do this. And lucky me that it came to pass, that I was actually in the position to accommodate them. Yeah, I mean, I'm the luckiest person I have such gratitude. I thank everybody for bringing the show back as many times as you did. I'm sure everybody had something to do with that, the Futurama show. And, you know, it's like inspiration and passion. You find voices anywhere. Even a lousy impression is a voice no one's ever heard before. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. If you, I'm trying to think of something. Oh, I don't know. There used to be an actor named Ed Wynn, and he talked like this. You know, and you've heard a million permutations of that character in cartoons, but it was every actor doing his impression of Ed Wynn, and some of them sounded good, some of them didn't sound faithful at all, but they were all good. They were all funny. They all worked. So, you know.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Can you do all the voices of Futurama arguing at the same time?
I suppose. Let's see. Okay, wait. Good news, everyone! Bad news. Good news, bad news. Well, we ran out of good newses. They did one time. They ran out of good newses, so they said good news, bad news. Well, what does that mean? Never mind what it means. I'll explain it to you because you're such a little frump. You're useless. Mouse balls. You're not a man, Fry. Stand up and be counted. Now, this is a beautiful ship. I'm gonna fly her brains out. Oh, Mr. Innuendo. Oh, you're gonna fly. I get it. Now everyone just take a nap and improve the quality of life around here. And you, Brannigan, jump into an open hole and really improve the quality of life around here.
I hear some Larry Fine.
For those who don't know, but I made it my business that everybody in the world should know. He was the impetus for the voice of Stimpy, the cat. But Larry, you know, you couldn't have a cat or a cartoon character that sounded like a depressed old Jewish guy. You know, oi, mein hernia. You know, Zochem. He was just like, no one noticed him. He wasn't meant to be noticed, but that's all I did because I'm peripheral and I look at stupid shit you're not supposed to look at. And, you know, he would be like, they'd be grooming a horse and Mo would be grooming the horse and the tail would keep brushing him in the face so he gets an idea. He's going to tie a brick to it. And then he still gets hit. But while he was figuring that out, Larry was just like this, not even paying attention while Mo got hit in the face with a brick. Then they cut to him, and then he's eating up scenery. You know, it's like the mismatched shots and everything. Hey, Mo, I pissed on my shoe. Hey, Mo, you took my money, didn't you? Yeah? Then it's Shemp. He's come back to haunt us. I don't know. That's Larry. I met his sister. She looked just like him. She had that cucumber nose. My brother would have loved Howard Stern because Larry had a dirty mouth. Larry was filthy. He was, I heard. I heard an anecdote. He was in Boston, and when they visited cities, they'd go to the favorite deli that they liked, and he came in, and the guy said, Larry, you're getting fat. Don't worry, I'll F it off. So there.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And when is your shift leave?
So my question is along the lines of the emotional scenes from Futurama, because I love all the comedy scenes just as much as everyone else, but I feel like the really emotional ones, like with Fry's dog and when he sees his mother again, like how are those scenes for you to like, you know, act them out, and like you when you watch the final product, like how does it make you feel? Because it brings tears to my eyes every time I watch them.
Come on in. It's okay.
Another kitten from the sandbox. How does it affect me? Well, gosh, I mean, those are universal rifts. Everybody's got to go through that. At least one of their parents dying in their time. And I didn't think about Fry's mother until about 2 years ago. And I lost my own mom. And, and you go through these, like, I don't want to call them psychedelic, they're just like excursions on another plane when you're half awake and half asleep and you think that you see the person, or you hear them talking and something wakes you up, because I heard my mother go, Billy, like that. Those kind of things get to me. Fry's dog, I recorded that, voiced it. I knew it was going to be sad, but I didn't know how sad. And when I saw it, I was tearing up, because everybody loves animals. That's why. Everyone knows what it's like to bond with a dog or a cat, even a bird. I mean, but they make us better than we are, animals. That's what I feel, And I wish I was half the man my stupid cat thinks I am. She'll be mad when I go home, it's waiting at the door. They don't like you to go away because they think you're gone forever. That's the thing. And then when they see you, they gotta play it cool. They like can't wait. They're in the window and oh boy. And then all of a sudden you come in and it's like, you little freak.
I actually just recently lost my dog.
Oh, you did? I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So, and like you said, 'cause whenever I came home from work, I would see her there, and her tail would be wagging. She'd come up, and it's been a few months since then, and it still feels.
Oh,
really rough.
I'm sorry for that. Dogs don't play games with you like cats do. Dogs are pretty. What you see is what you get.
Yeah.
Hey, did you ever see that thing on TV one time where they tried to illustrate the connection between an owner and her dog? And what they did was they had a split screen and they had time code, equal time code on each one, like what happens in her day and what happens in his day. And so what they did was, she pats him and gives him a kiss, and leaves a little kibble out for him or whatever, and she goes to work. And the dog's, he knows what's up. She's leaving. And then they show what happens in her day. She's driving to work. You look over and you see the same time exactly, and the dog is like lying there taking a nice nap. And the dog gets up a few times while she's at work, almost lunchtime, and the dog gets up and does a circle and a couple times and then plunks down again and goes back to sleep. So then she takes her lunch, the dog gets up, goes somewhere and comes back and then lays down. And then she's at the end of her day and she decides, she says, I'm gonna, in her mind she said, I'm gonna get in my car, but before I go home, I'm gonna go to the store. The dog at the very same time is just lying there. And then she goes to the store, she gets in her car, and now she makes the conscious decision that she's gonna go home. All of a sudden the dog was like, just knew. The very second she said, okay, I'm on my way home now. The dog was like, it doesn't matter the distance, doesn't matter the time, nothing. There's a real connection.
Where did you see this? I haven't seen this.
Oh, it was on some, it's probably on YouTube. I wish I knew how to address it because a million other things will come up. But that was like split screen, owner and her dog, and like a day in the life. And it was so fascinating. And it's like, you know what, there's room in your heart for another dog.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's room.
The last thing I'll just say is that I had lost our dog when I was younger, and I was hoping that because we knew this one was coming, so we're like, I've already lost a dog, I should be fine, and it felt like this one was worse.
Oh no, it always gets worse, but the thing is that, you live long enough, you've got room in your life for quite a few loyal little friends.
Yeah.
And you want them to live as long as you do. That's what I wish. I wish they at least outlive me or something.
Yeah.
But no, you gotta go into every relationship knowing that you're gonna be the best caretaker at the end, and that they know they're loved, and that they had a good home. I don't know if that makes you feel any better.
No,
I'd be crying again.
It does make me feel better.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
What would you say is your greatest source of inspiration? Because every time I look at you, I can't help but think, wow, that guy's really like Robin Williams, but in the 70s.
Oh, really? Wow, why do they call it rush hour when nothing moves? I don't know. I liked him very much, but he was like second generation. The ones that influenced me the most was guys like Jonathan Winters. You know, because I was basically the same age as Robin Williams, and he loved Jonathan Winters, and that guy inspired me too. You know, he could have a conversation with his shoe. He could, you know, somebody could say, "Can you do an elephant wrapping a present for his girlfriend?" You know, and he would just do it. Okay, you know, and it was crazy. The imagination and the improvisation. And that was like going out on a limb. He didn't have an act. He used to go to comedy clubs and people would have suggestions for him. And Robin Williams was kind of like that. He had these flights that he'd take off on. I marveled at him. I saw him once in person and he came through the aisles, you know, and he was trying to humiliate people with the mic, you know. And I have this big friggin' loud sweater on, green, white stripes. And I said, uh-oh, here he comes. And he goes, "Look, everybody, Sears had a sale." And I said, "You bastard." But I know someone who knew him, and they said, Robin would have loved me. He said, Robin would have loved you. He would have just loved you. And I thought, what a compliment, you know? Because these other guys are comedians, and they're brilliant. I know a lot of comedians. Whenever I say something funny, you know you're around a comedian because they go, "Is that yours?" Is that yours? Yeah. And it's like, come on, man. I'm throwing them away. So there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just
Hi.
want to say you're really great, and
Thank you.
you know, I always had to sneak watching Ren and Stimpy because my mom never wanted me to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it.
I raised you. You look like you grew up okay.
No,
You don't have screwed up brainwaves or anything, do you?
no, but my question is, so, you know, you live with these characters for a long time, you know, with all of them for years, and like sometimes when like you're in a situation or whatever, like something bad happens, and you're like you think, why not Billy? But it's Zoidberg's voice in your head. Like are they in there sometimes? And it's like, oh, that's or like you do something that's like, oh, that's something the professor would have done, or something like that.
You know, I'm trying to think if that ever happens. I do mess around a lot, but it's usually like in mixed company. But when I'm by myself, I don't know, I think maybe once I might have said something like I spilled some hot water on my hand because I was making ramen. You know, oh, this will be easy. It's just put the cup in the microwave oven. And, yeah, see, I don't even have to put it in the, you know, and it's like, I think I was like, sweet zombie Jesus. You know, it was to keep me from like feeling really hurt. Yeah, it was like a Band-Aid. But no, I don't do it that much. You would think, maybe I should do it more.
Hi.
Hi.
I wanted to ask if you could tell us about a first audition or a favorite audition. I've got my first audition in a week and a half, and I'm terrified.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Think of how many people you'll let down if you don't show up. It's on record now.
I'm going to show, I'm just terrified.
You're going to show and you're terrified. Well, you're going to be with other people? Is it an outer office where you all readings?
No, it's going to be in a home studio.
Oh, home studio. Because I was going to say, when I moved to New York from Boston years ago, it was like going to one office after another in those big tall buildings in New York, and you'd come in and the elevator door would open and there'd be like 105 people there for a radio spot. And I used to go, oh, Jesus, you know. But luckily I was on the Stern Show at that very time, and Madison Avenue was getting a load of me every morning. And they started calling up, hey, we heard you, you know, you want to come in? And, you know, so that was like kind of an electronic business card. But it was scary until I realized that person that keeps coming out and going, okay, who's next? You know, or they got the list, okay, who's next? And your heart's in your throat, and you, oh, please don't, I hope I don't choke, you know. There's a psychological thing that you have to understand. That person appears to you like they're keeping you out of show business, like they're the guardian to the gate. But what they're really saying is, welcome, welcome, because you might be the one that gets it today, and you'll make my job so much easier. That's what's really going on. Yeah, it's not like, you know, you'll never get in this business, you're not worth it. So once I realized that, I said, you know what, it makes it easier to stroll in there and be friendly to everybody, look everybody in the eye, and don't, like, you know, pull this, you know, I'm new. No, it's a confidence thing. And you know what? I don't know you, but it always turns out that you have more talent than confidence, and you got to catch up. You got to play catch up. You know, like, you got to realize that your talent will carry you. Your wings will pop out when you need them. And being afraid is actually kind of good, because it gives you an edge. You know, even when I went to audition for Futurama, I went into that crowd, and who do I see? I see Ryan Stiles, and I see this one and that one, and I'm going, oh, Jesus, he'll mop the floor with this audition. You know, and I was psyching out, and then I said, oh, you know, shut up, you know, you have something special to offer, and you have to believe that you have a take or a voice or some approach that is not like the other people. And they should feel the same way, to be honest. I mean, health-wise, mental health-wise, you know? So you're not so scared now, huh?
I'm still twitching, but yeah.
Please, what are you trying to do, make a jerk out of me? No, I understand it all. And there's really no reason to be afraid. It's like, what do you think will happen? You think somebody's gonna crack up laughing in the middle of your take?
Well, if I make them laugh, if it's a comedy bit.
Well, then do so. Go for it, commit to it. If it's supposed to be funny, nail it, just jam it, yeah. You know, to me, I always played things big. I never played anything small, because I don't feel you can inspire anybody if you play it small. You can't inspire other people. So I always played it big, you know, unafraid. Your job is to be unafraid. That's what I'm aiming to get at here, I think. Yeah. Don't be afraid of them. You know what? If you do get afraid, when you go in, picture them all with red tights and feathers.
I like it.
Yeah. Next.
Thank you.
Sure. I hope you kill them.
How you doing?
Hey.
I was just wondering, what was like the wildest thing you've done, like growing up or like as a young adult? I just feel like you got some good stories.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but they're crazy. You know, I spent the quarantine when we had to stay home. Everybody was in lockdown. I said, I can't sit here and do nothing. I don't watch television. I know that sounds crazy, but I can't tell you what's on TV, except for like news and information and nature shows, because they can't fuck with you. You know what I mean? It's animals. The honesty of animals is like, you know, watch how the mother protects. Of course she's gonna. That's an animal. That's maternal. You know, you can't count on a human even to do that anymore. Back to the beginning. So anyway, I don't know. Trying to come up with the right. Tell me what you were thinking.
I don't know. I was just wondering if you had like any like crazy like party stories or anything like that.
I was ridiculously out of control. I was cross-addicted, drunk, and cocaine addict, and that went on for almost 20 years. Yeah, I've played in bands. I remember when I was 19, the band took a break. You know, and I could see myself in the bar mirror, and I'm looking, I'm young and beautiful, and I got this big pile of hair, and I go, you know what, I need a drink.
What did you play in the band?
Oh, I played guitar and sang, and yeah, you know, and I wanted to be the best player in the world, like everybody. But I did wind up to play with one of my idols, so that was a good thing. But I said, I gotta get a drink, so I get a drink, and I come up there like, you know, like I know what I'm doing, and I said, what do you got that's sweet and easy on the stomach? And the guy's like, you know, snickering. He pours me a slow gin fizz. Thanks. You know, and it's gone in 2 seconds because it tasted like soda pop to me, except it's alcohol. It's slow gin in there. And I said, give me another one, and I had another one. And then I had another one, and I liked it, and I had more. And then I started I went crazy. I said, this is what I've been looking for my whole life. I wanted to feel like this my whole damn life. What an escape. I don't have to worry about being an oddball. I don't have to worry about having, you know, ADHD and OCD and everything else and being on meds, you know. I don't have to worry about anything. I was on everything but a skateboard at one point. And, you know, it was just like, it was the drug of Irish poets, you know. I'm half Irish. So there's the muse, the gentle, beautiful girl hand patting my head. It's okay, you know, you'll be all right. Everything is fine. And then when you wake up the next day, things are 5 times worse than the day before. And yet I would just bear it, and I would walk around with these hideous hangovers. But it was like everybody in my family was like that when I think about it. My uncles, they used to sleep in the doorway of work, you know. After they got out of the bars, they wouldn't go home because I'm not gonna miss my paycheck. I'm not gonna miss out on it. You know, all these Irish dynamiters. So the wildest thing, I don't know, I wrote this book, and I don't know when it'll be released, but it's got a million crazy ass stories. One was a trip to Peru. I was with 3 or 4 other guys, and we were doing coke, and I said, it tastes like the whole Peruvian army marched through this. It tastes like baby powder, which is probably what it was. And I said, what are we paying all this money for this junk for? And somebody said, why don't we go where they make it? And I said, now you've said something. And we actually got on a plane to Lima, Peru, 5 imbeciles looking for a drug vacation. And et cetera, et cetera. It was a nightmare. A nightmare. I almost got shot to death. I was romancing the richest guy in town's daughter. Because
sounds like a movie plot.
No, it really is. I mean, this guy used to hang around, and he liked me because I was a good Billy up to a point, and then I would cross into the black forest, you know, of alcoholic behavior. And he said, come, I make you lunch. And you go to this guy's house, and it's turquoise and gold and banisters and marble. And I went upstairs to use the restroom, and I walked by this room, and his daughter was sunning on her sun porch. And all I see is a pair of legs. Next thing you know, I blacked out and found myself in front of the place. I must have got grabbed like this and booted, you know, for being a jerk. And, you know, so that didn't stop me. I went looking for another flavor of trouble somewhere else, which I did. But it'll be in a book, you know, if you're interested.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Let us know when it releases.
Yeah, it's not all bad, but you know what it is? It's
What's
like...
the name?
Yeah, I was just about to ask what's the name of the book.
I think the tentative title is like Voices from Life, Voices from Cartoons. And talks about childhood a lot because I was abused, you know, not looking for sympathy because I did okay, but my dad was a psychotic, a drunk, a crazy, beat my mother up, beat me up every day, you know, mostly because I couldn't understand what he was trying to make me do. I just was incapable, and he mistook that for just sheer stupidity. But it was being on the spectrum. They didn't even have a word for it back then. No one even knew what those things were, or ADHD, which I always had. I remember my aunts saying stuff to me when I was 7. It's like you got lightning up your ass. My beautiful Aunt Joanne said that to me once. You got energy coming out of your ears. I said, I don't know. It's called being a kid, I guess. Yes?
I guess well, the question is directed towards Futurama, but just in general also. Did you ever get any input on any of your characters to the writers that they actually took to heart and wrote on the show, or vice versa, etc.?
They would always tell me, give me an idea of what they were looking for. If a certain character was being highlighted and was going to undertake a certain thing that they didn't usually do, the writers would go, in this one, he's acting like sort of the opposite of the way he normally acts, so play it like that. You know, just mild guidelines, and they trusted us to interpret the script, and I don't know, I kind of knew the characters so well, and I got to know them even more. At first, you don't know who they are. The writers don't even know who they are. After 6 episodes, they're like, we're just starting to figure out who these characters are. Like, what do they want? What does each character want? Who's going to change? Who isn't going to change? How do their interspersed, events coinciding with each other? How does that change them? It gets complicated, but you know what it is? It's story-driven. So that's what's the most beautiful about it. There's antics, and the reinvention, I keep calling it that, of comedic idioms. They did a really good job with that. Your music is bad and you should feel bad. An insult. Your music is bad and you should feel bad. So, yeah, I get little notes here and there. But one time, see, they listen. Like when we're just sitting down and I'm trying to find my name tag. Where am I sitting? Oh, next to Katie. Okay, good. You know, and somebody will say, hey, Billy West, did you hear? I said, Billy West? What kind of a phony, fake name is that? And the writers heard the whole thing, and it wound up in an episode. It's kind of a stupid, phony, fake name. And I died when it was about time to read that, and I saw it, and I went, ow! Yeah, so it's all fun. It's all beautiful. Do I look happy? I hope I do. Usually under the mask, you have to say, I'm smiling under here. Hey.
This is back to the question prior, kind of. How did you get over your need of escapism, and how do you stop the thought loops like that come with that?
They never stopped until recently. The rumination, waking up in a cold sweat, worrying about something I said 28 years ago to somebody. My feet sweating and freezing, going, oh Jesus, you know. And it's like, it doesn't leave you alone. It's called rumination. And there's a way to break it. There's a way to break it, and there's also a way to take your worst fear and separate the event from just fear in general. That's one way I learned how to get rid of fears is it's not one thing. Fear and fright of something are two different things. There's fear, and then there's the event that you associate with it that's making you scared and frightened. And one part of you takes the event away from the fear and throws it away, and you embrace the fear itself, just the fear, and welcome it, because that's the human part. The other part will destroy you, you know, and it started to work for me. It did. I mean, I don't know what I was afraid of. I'm basically fearless by nature. There isn't anything I wouldn't do, you know? I would do anything and have, but, you know.
How did you help with the escapism? Like, how do
the
you,
escapism,
how do you deal more with reality then?
Well, you need an outlet. You know what I mean? Like a creative outlet. That's where you channel your escapism. Because obviously you're trying to escape to a world that doesn't exist for you. It didn't exist for me. My childhood was this miserable, rotten world, and I couldn't wait to get out of school. Going to school made me sick. You know, every day I'd be like dying, and you know, I mean, I just I didn't have any interest in academia. They used to show the Three Stooges before I went to school in the morning. You know, so I went with a head full of it, how to act, how to do comedy, how to understand timing. You know, I mean, that was like the autistic paradox. It's like you're learning how to be like hopefully one of the funniest people on the planet. But meanwhile, you got to go to school so you can read Dick and Jane and Spot. You know, so none of it ever made sense to me. But it's like everything that I was doing back then, I still do for a living without realizing it. But the escapism was that I had a channel, a place to channel it. You know what I mean? Like, try performing.
I get it.
Did you ever try performing? I mean, there's people that go do stand-up because they're trying to reconfigure things and hope people will get what you're saying, and therein lies the artistry to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally see that.
You okay with that?
Yeah, that's a good answer, man. Thank you.
You're like this.
Sorry.
I don't want to hear anything. No, I'm being serious. I'm concerned. You know, I care about what I'm telling you.
I'm fine, man.
No, I care about what I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. I completely understand that. That did sink in.
But I hope that, you know, you think about it and go, what can I do? What, you know.
I've been on that thought path for a little while on my own, but it's always nice to hear another perspective. It's always nice to get more perspective.
Oh, and the other business about the loops.
Yeah, don't think about something like
that's a killer. It's called rumination, and it'll destroy you. It's like it physically leaves.
Even if you're quiet, you're still really replaying a conversation after 45 minutes.
I did that my whole damn life.
It's the worst thing. You're just like, I need to drop this. I don't know how.
I'd say something to somebody, and then I'd say just exactly what I said under my breath.
Yeah.
To check myself to see if it came out all right.
I've been there.
Yeah, my dad said, what is this? And I said, I don't know. But there's these tapes. Well, actually, there are videos on YouTube, and I'll tell you exactly which one I listened to. There's this guy, Michael Seeley, Seeley, and he's like a hypnotherapist. And his whole thing is just talking about how to just break from rumination. And it really worked. It really, really helped me. Because you wake up and you just feel different about it, and then the next night it gets easier. And it's about repetition, it's about listening a lot. But try to remember that, though. And I'm on Twitter, and you know, if you have any luck with that, let me know. Because I always want to share something that was good for me.
Hey, if I helped you, I might give it a shot. Like,
Good for you.
I've been working on it on my, you know, it's been years, and
Yep.
yeah, you get better as you get older.
Yeah, it ain't easy.
It
All right, this is going to be our last question, and we are all.
Are we that busy?
Yeah.
Really? I have to go now? I can't talk for an hour. I can talk for 4 hours.
So I know that Zap Brannigan originally was supposed to be voiced by Phil Hartman.
Yes.
And at what point did the writers decide, okay, Billy West is going to do half the characters on this show? And what's it like talking to yourself in the studio?
Well, the thing about Phil Hartman was when I lived in New York City, when I was married back then, I'd get in my car and I'd head to go back home from the city. I'd hear the gates of hell clang shut behind me, you know, on the way to the suburbs. And because I was working in radio on the Stern Show. Hey, Robin, he just farted. There's the idiot's guide to the Stern Show. No, but I was on my way home and my wife called me and she said, guess who just called here looking for you? I said, who? She said, Phil Hartman. And I said, V, do you know how many guys I know that could prank you like that could just do exactly that? And she said, no, it was him, and he left his number and he wanted to say hi to you. And I was like, how do you like that? And I called him, and it was him. And he said, I'm just calling to say hi, and that I love what you do, and He said, you ought to think about moving out to Hollywood. Think of moving to California. And he was so helpful. He was so generous of spirit, you know? A lot of actors are just like, they're stingy with their feelings, with their emotion, with their advice. You know, it's like, no, I can't break character or whatever. But he was loose and he was affable. And I said, well, I kind of know who you are too, you know? So when I did move out there, he told me, I'll help you get acclimated. You know, because he knew that it could be scary. I couldn't believe that somebody would be that generous of spirit to do that. And we did a commercial together. We did an M&M's commercial where he played this cocky candy bar, chalky bar, and he's strutting near the pool, you know, and that was Phil.
Wow.
Yeah, and he melted in the sun. But I mean, I remember it like it was yesterday, back and forth. And I remember the M&M sessions because I get to work with J.K. Simmons all the time. You know, and people that don't know him, he stole the first Spider-Man movie as J. Jonah Jameson. Yeah, and then he won an Oscar, and 3 days later, he was working with me, doing an M&M spot as the yellow M&M. That's a journeyman. And he's another one that's so generous of spirit, but so wildly, magnificently talented, you have no idea. Cool. Yeah, and when I first met him, I knew, I said, this guy's like a national treasure. Yeah, I have the highest respect for my peers. You know, you ask me about anybody, people here, Robbie Paulson, you know, they're all my buddies, most of them. You know, and the women, you know, same thing. So, yeah, so talking to myself, it just worked out that way. And I could do it. That's probably why they let me keep doing it, because I was a freak, you know. I wasn't suited for much else, except these seamless transitions, which are pretty hard for most people.
Yeah.
But I was doing it like my life depended on it. And I think that's the best way to perform anything. Whether you're a ball player or, you know what I mean? Skater, Olympic, yeah, Olympiad, like your life depended on it.
Awesome.
Sure. And there's a final one. Goodbye. Come down and say hi. Please. I love you too, more than you know.
Hey, are you listening? Hey, this is Billy West. I knew you'd recognize my voice, but sometimes you can't, because you're watching King's Entertainment Reviews. Now, I would love it, being the professor, if you'd comment, like, and subscribe. You hear that? He knows what he's talking about, because he's a smart old bastard. Yeah. All right, now, get with it.